In the remote and isolated terrain of the Tibetan Plateau lies one of the most ambitious engineering projects in history: China's plan to construct a massive hydroelectric dam on the Yarlung Tsangpo River. If completed, this dam would be the most powerful of its kind, generating up to 60 gigawatts of electricity, 3 times the output of the world's largest existing dam, the Three Gorges Dam. But this project is far more than just an engineering challenge. It raises complex environmental, geopolitical, and cultural questions, while also posing significant risks. Today, we'll explore the facts behind this enormous undertaking. The Yarlung Tsangpo River originates from the Yangtze Glacier on the Tibetan Plateau, often called the roof of the world. It flows for over 2,800 kilometers, eventually becoming the Brahmaputra River as it enters India and Bangladesh before emptying into the Bay of Bengal. Along its course, the river carves through some of the most dramatic landscapes on Earth, including the Yarlung Tsangpo Gorge, often referred to as the Everest of rivers. This gorge, where the river drops over 2,000 meters in just 100 kilometers, is the proposed site for the super dam. Its steep gradient offers immense potential for hydroelectric power generation, making it one of the most attractive yet challenging locations for such a project. China is no stranger to large-scale hydropower projects. Since the 1950s, the country has constructed over 87,000 dams, including the iconic Three Gorges Dam on the Yangtze River, which generates 22.5 gigawatts of electricity annually. These projects have been critical to China's rapid industrialization, providing power to support its economic growth and urban development. However, with China's electricity demand doubling that of the United States and 8 times that of Russia, the country continues to seek new energy sources. Hydropower, being a renewable and relatively low-emission energy source, has become central to China's strategy for reducing its reliance on coal. The Yarlung Tsangpo project represents a significant step forward in this strategy, but its location adds layers of complexity. The river is an international waterway, shared with India and Bangladesh downstream. These countries rely on the river for agriculture, drinking water, and livelihoods, and any disruption to its flow could have far-reaching consequences. Bangladesh, for instance, depends on sediment carried by the Brahmaputra for its fertile agricultural plains. A dam in the upper reaches could block this sediment, reducing soil fertility and impacting crop yields. Similarly, changes in water flow could lead to droughts or floods, affecting millions of farmers in India and Bangladesh. In addition to geopolitical concerns, the Yarlung Tsangpo Gorge is located in one of the most seismically active regions in the world. The area sits on the Indo-Asian tectonic boundary, where the Indian plate collides with the Eurasian plate. This collision, which created the Himalayan mountains, continues to generate significant seismic activity. In 1950, the region experienced an 8.6 magnitude earthquake, one of the largest ever recorded. The tremors triggered landslides that blocked the river for days, creating natural dams that eventually burst, causing devastating floods downstream. Building a dam in this region would require engineering solutions capable of withstanding similar events in the future. Landslides also remain a frequent occurrence in the area, particularly as glacier melt due to climate change. In 2021, a melting glacier caused a significant blockage of the Yarlung Tsangpo, illustrating how dynamic and unpredictable this environment can be. The engineering challenges of this project are equally daunting. The remote location means there are few roads or transport networks capable of supporting the construction effort. Until 2013, there wasn't even a year-round road to the area. Transporting construction materials and heavy machinery through such rugged terrain would require significant logistical planning. Furthermore, the scale of the project is immense. Early proposals have suggested 2 possible approaches. The first involves building a series of cascading dams along the river, which could disrupt the local ecosystem. The second and more likely option is to construct a single run-of-the-river system, which would involve boring a tunnel through the Namche Bawa mountain. This tunnel, possibly 40 to 50 kilometers long, would redirect the river's flow, allowing it to drop thousands of meters in altitude before passing through a series of turbines. Such a tunnel would rival the engineering complexity of projects like the Channel Tunnel between the UK and France. If successful, it could generate an estimated 300 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity annually, enough to power entire nations. The Yarlung Tsangpo Gorge is not just an ecological and engineering marvel, it is also a region of profound cultural significance. For centuries, the river has been considered sacred in Tibetan Buddhism, with local myths describing it as a goddess's body. The gorge itself is thought to contain hidden entrances to spiritual worlds, making it an important pilgrimage site. The construction of a massive dam in this sacred landscape has raised concerns among Tibetan communities, who fear the loss of cultural heritage. These concerns add to the broader environmental debates surrounding the project. The Tibetan Plateau, often called the Water Tower of Asia, is the source of many of the continent's major rivers, including the Yangtze, Mekong, Ganges, and Brahmaputra. This makes China the upstream custodian of water resources relied upon by billions of people. Critics argue that China's control over these rivers gives it significant geopolitical leverage, a concern amplified by projects like the Yarlung Tsangpo Dam. India, wary of potential water shortages, has announced its own plans to build a 10-gigawatt dam on the same river. While this could help India manage its water resources, it may also heighten tensions with Bangladesh, which sits downstream. The rationale for China's focus on this project is clear. The country is committed to achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2060. Hydropower plays a critical role in this transition, complementing investments in solar, wind, and tidal energy. However, large-scale projects like the Yarlung Tsangpo Dam highlight the trade-offs inherent in such endeavors, balancing energy needs against environmental, cultural, and geopolitical costs. The Yarlung Tsangpo Super Dam remains an uncertain prospect. While it could provide renewable energy on an unprecedented scale, the risks and challenges are just as significant. From seismic hazards to international disputes, this project encapsulates the complexities of large-scale infrastructure development in the 21st century. Whether China proceeds with this dam or not, its plans raise important questions about the future of energy, the environment, and regional cooperation. In a world facing rising demand for electricity and the growing impacts of climate change, these are questions that extend far beyond the borders of any one country. Thank you for joining us as we explored this fascinating yet controversial project. Be sure to subscribe to stay informed about developments in infrastructure, energy, and the environment.